The truth has to be said. With the rebasing, despite the fact that they posit over an 18% uptick in economic activities, it's not still reflective of where we ought to be. Where were we coming from? When we had the last rebasing, manufacturing, for instance, took about 28% of this economy. Today it's about 21%. It shows that manufacturing is strong. How will manufacturing not shrink in an economy where Kadi himself came out to say that the devaluation of the currency and in currency issues, they lost close to $1 trillion, the manufacturing sector. The issue of power has not been solved. You can see now the power authorities are saying that I think around the Ikeja disco for over 20-something days that they will not have power. But you see, that's why when some people argue that, remove the energy sector subsidy, privatize the energy sector, people must pay cost reflective tariff. 25 days now, no power. Is there any sane country that happens? There's going to be load shedding. I'm sorry, I didn't get the facts right. So please, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'll put a caveat there if I don't have the empiricals, I don't like to talk. But there's going to be electricity disruptions. Let me just put it that way. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Despite the fact that people are paying for band A. So you have put that premium on people paying for band A. How do you want factories to be able to work effectively? And that's why when I say the problem with the electricity sector in Nigeria is cultural, and some idealists think that once you pull out all the subsidies and people pay cost-reflective tariffs, the industry will stabilize on its own. And I say it doesn't work like that. It's a case of vindication again. So you can see those problems. All of these are weighing on the manufacturing sector. Forex issues, all of that. Then also, the minimum wage, even the cost of money itself. You can see how the conversation went for the minimum wage, because we say manufacturers should pay minimum wage, but where's the productivity in the economy? An economy that has gone from over 300 billion to now 246 billion despite rebasing, it shows lackluster productivity. Very tepid growth. Then when you now look at the factor of logistical interplay, because what is the basic question of economy? What to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce? For whom are we producing? People that have no money, no economic fecundity, that you've halved their lives because of devaluation, that inflation is eating up. How to produce? How do you produce? Where electricity is not stable, tariffs are up, there is pain there, there's cost of vandalism. Where are you producing? Lagos, you know what the rent is like? So all of these factors are put together. They're affecting the manufacturing sector. Hence you see the level of shrinking. Yes, people like NECA have said it's good to rebase, at least we know the true value of the economy. Other economies have made the argument. But like Man did say, it just shows that all is not well in the sectors of the economy. So what should the president do? Economic injection, economic fecundity. These are the people we should look at, because these are the people that are pushing the level of the economy. The president, a couple of years ago, gave a speech where he said he was going to put some money aside for those in some sectors, entrepreneurs. I think in billions of naira worth of loan. I don't know if he has given them the money. Secondly, providing conducive environment for them to be able to sell their wares. How easy is it going to be with conducive environment? With multiple taxation. If you carry a truck of produce from one part of the country to another, do you know how many touts, thugs, and people from all sorts of inclinations or leanings will collect taxes from you on the road? Informal taxes. How has the president stopped this? And that's what he should do to be able to bring about, that's what they're saying, ease of doing business. How is it easy to navigate through government bureaucracy? Try going through government bureaucracy. You need a permit from government. Do you know how many people you have to grease their palms or walk through? So these are the problems, and these are the solutions. Because therein also lies the solution. So Man, a pivotal part of the economy, have made their stance known as regards this rebasing. It has shown that we don't have prospects yet. It has shown that despite the fact that they talk about growth is tepid, it has shown that there's no direct correlation on the lives and the affairs of the people. And people are suffering. SBM Intelligence did a report recently given by, and they discovered that it would take you 40% of the minimum wage to cook a pot of jollof rice. As we speak today, you know the import waiver that the government gave, that cap is fast wearing out. Rice now is going close to 100,000 naira again in the markets. So you have all of these pressures, and that's why Man is saying all of this. The question is, what are we going to do? Incentivize farmers, help them. Where are the tractors that you brought in from Belarus? Have they started working? Where's the food? Tractors that you brought in from Belarus, have they started working? Where's the food?
Okay, yesterday I had a long session on This Day Live, a Sunday talk show with Professor Franklin Ungo of the Public Sector Initiative Program at the Lagos Business School, Pan-African University. And so we looked at it in great detail. Now, the first thing to note is that rebasing is not necessarily about cost of living details and all of that. It's simply to, give a reflection of current realities in a particular economy. The last time Nigeria rebased was in 2014. The UN Statistical Commission says you rebase within 5 to 10 years. However, the irony that we have here, which the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria is pointing out, is that, look, this doesn't show that there is any growth in the economy. And I think that the controversy comes from the fact that the Bureau of Statistics and government spokespersons have said, oh, there has been an increase of 3.13% year over year between 2024 and 2025. Whereas in 2012, GDP rebasing gave the Nigerian economy 520 billion or so. Now we are 13 years later, talking about a loss of, in terms of the calculations, about 277 billion. So that in itself has caused a lot of controversy. Two, if you look at the details of the rebasing, we seem to be doing well with trade. Real estate is also doing well. Real estate is the third largest, sector. But we're not doing well with either crop production or agriculture or manufacturing. And Professor Ungu was arguing yesterday on this same station that you need to improve on manufacturing and agriculture, the real sector, so that there will be a positive effect in terms of other major indicators within the economy. Say, for example, salaries. Salaries are not even being paid. Say, for example, production. There is no significant productivity within the economy, which was the point I made the other day when we brought the issue. Now there's expenditure. Government just spends on luxury, not on real things. Government is taking loans. So there's a disconnect. However, the whole point about GDP rebasing is that, well, it provides data. Some statisticians have pointed out. But is it statistics we're interested in, or the quality of life?
Amazon made 600...
Or the quality of life. And that's why you have, other people saying, look, if there is no real economic growth, if GDP per capita is not significant enough to translate into positive benefits for the people, then statistics or data will make no sense to the ordinary Nigerian. But the connecting point here is about, okay, you have the data, what do you do with that data? How does that data translate into concrete policy? And the question is, does the present administration, does it have a capacity, does it have the political will to ensure that connection between statistics and the reality that the hardcore economists are talking about? Definitely, Manufacturing Association of Nigeria is right. Benchmark rate is 27.5%. The cost of borrowing is very high. How many, companies in the manufacturing sector are able to borrow money and do real business? Unless you have all of that in place. And then agriculture, which everybody is talking about, which was also a subject we focused on at great length yesterday on This Day Live, the Sunday talk show. Unless you have serious productivity at that level, feed the people, ensure the value chain is properly managed, then of course, you can't just be talking about statistics. Because while data is important, human lives are far more important. Now, let me go to the issue about Alhaji Aliko Dangote. Alhaji Aliko Dangote received an audience, Mrs. Oduwole, who visited the refinery. And it was in the course of that meeting with the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment that there was this talk about how, Alhaji Dangote was praising the Tinubu administration for supporting the private sector, for the Nigeria First policy, for the Naira for crude exchange policy and all of that. Well, even the international bodies, either it's IMF or World Bank, they've praised this administration, saying that, the economic reforms are in order, but there are still things to be done. However, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, who is investing heavily in this economy, 20 billion naira, largest single train of refinery in Africa, creating jobs and opportunities, and also, reinventing the oil and gas sector, and also helping us with foreign exchange. The question he raised is that the government should ban the import of refined products. And I think we may spend a minute or a little or less than that, to reflect on that. Now, the marketers, the other players in the sector are likely to say, oh, this is Alhaji Dangote, he wants to be the only one that is operating in that sector. The question to ask is this. The Dangote refinery is producing in Nigeria. The basic issues in terms of this production will be volume, quality, costs. I think there should be an investigation of this, particularly by the regulator. It's not enough to just react emotionally. The people who are importing refined fuel, at what cost? What is the volume? What is the quality? And then we have a comparative analysis. And on the basis of that, we can say, oh, okay, maybe Dangote refinery is right. Maybe the importers are right. But I know that the majority of Nigerians say that it is more cost effective for us to produce and refine products here in Nigeria and to make the product available at a price that is convenient for the generality of the Nigerian people. That's the main economics in that particular regard. And I think that's what we should talk about instead of, people say, oh, Dangote has come again. No, we should look at the issue, volume, quality, cost, and do a proper comparison. And that is for the regulator to wake up and operate as a regulator, not as newspaper or roadside beer parlor, people responding to the issues at stake. And finally, still talking about the private sector, where today is the birthday of the group managing director and CEO of Fidelity Bank, Dr. Onyeka Onyali Ikpe. And we wish her a very happy birthday. But I'm sure... yes. Yeah, well.
It was Liboros's birthday last week. He has sent his implications. Implications are
coming. He's coming today.
He's coming today.
Oh, we're having fun.
So you have implications ready
the Fidelity people, they were in Ogun State over the weekend.
Yes.
Doing SME and all that. Yes. I think that's some implications. But if they do other implications in terms of jollof rice and pepper soup, anyway, congratulations.
Ogunites.
Congratulations to the GMD CEO of Fidelity Bank.
A very happy birthday to her. She's such an inspiration, truly. Right, where do we begin? Let's begin with the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria's response to conversations happening around GDP rebasing. And for me, the most prominent part of that statement was something that we've carried through as a theme in our conversation around this GDP rebasing, which is the fact that industry numbers have declined, which is a huge source of concern for an economy that is not yet fully industrialized. Now, I've been following an economist, he's with the University of Cambridge, I believe, called Justine Haig, and he focuses and concentrates on issues around industrialization. And what I love that he says is that industrialization in this era that we're currently living in is actually a matter of national security. That's why you see the shifting global dynamics at the moment. They're all centered around industrialization and reindustrialization, and how countries are now seeking to protect their markets because they've realized that industrialization, the manufacturing sector in a country, is a very big key to a nation's prosperity as a generator of revenue, as an employer of labor, and of course, de facto, as something that upholds families and households. So a very serious look needs to be taken at our industrial policy locally. Does it protect national security?
You can get my best
security. The sachet economy that we've gone into and we thought would just be a sachet economy for just a short period of time seems to become deeply entrenched, and it seems to be getting worse. So yes, as much as the manufacturers are running on their last legs, they're creating sachet produce as opposed to scaling up as we should be at this point. And these are some of the key indicators and the key takeaways, I believe, from the issues that are brought up from rebasing. You look at countries like China and Vietnam, even South Africa, the reason why they're having a headache over the United States tariffs is because their economies are industrialized, because they're exporting manufactured goods. So these changes in the global dynamics affect them. A country like Nigeria, for example, is not really having much of a headache because we don't have the manufactured goods at that scale that we're selling to the world. Many people would argue that what Donald Trump is doing, albeit in a very controversial way, is attempting to reindustrialize the American economy. He's trying to get manufacturers, factories jump-started and going, because it is now understood that, yes, as much as one aspires to have a service-based economy, it means nothing if your industrial sector, your productive sector, your manufacturing sector is dormant, or if it's shrinking in size. So I think there's a very urgent look that needs to be made at industrial policy, how we can jumpstart it and how we can protect it. A perfect example are the concerns that have been raised by Alhaji Aliko Dangote. You have an industrialist, a manufacturer, somebody who's adding value to a raw product in the Nigerian economy, who is saying that, well, the conditions in the marketplace don't favor me as a domestic producer. Now, while I'm weary of the word ban, I think banning is always a little bit, it should always be a policy of last resort. I think that this is where tariffs come in. I think that it's important to say that if a finished product is being imported into this market, there should be a tariff placed on it because it's already available locally. So if you opt to go and import it, then you should be paying a premium to go and import it. And those who are buying at the fuel station should also be given the choice to say, I want to buy Nigerian or I want to buy the imported one at a premium price. In most fuel stations around Africa, if you drive to the pump, you have the chance to choose between blended or unblended. And that's a very important distinction that needs to be made, because the allegations that are being made here are similar allegations that are made in the rest of the African continent, that there's blended substandard product that's being brought in. No problem. If it's being brought in, if the regulator has decided that it has a place in this market, then let the consumer know. Let it be the consumer's choice that, yes, I am choosing to buy product X or I'm choosing to buy product Y, and this is the price difference, and this is my personal choice. I think that might be a more fair way to deal with some of these issues around petroleum and protecting local industry.
Listen to that. You see, the problem of this country now, the problem we are this time is everything is happening at the same time. Do you understand? Everything is happening at the same time. Now, the system is so bad and so corrupt to the extent that even these people do not even know what to say again, because they have lied to us many times. You know, when you lie too much, if you lie once, you need 10 more lies to cover the first one. This is a problem now. So it's even affecting them. There's nothing. It's like they don't know what to do again. As in, they say this, they've said it before, it's a lie. They do this, they said it before, it's a lie. They are confused. That's why I always use that word, that they are confused. Let me tell you something. If you live in Nigeria today, you are earning 500,000 as a salary. That one is not enough for you. It can't do anything for you. Now, that one said, the professor said, according to research now, you use 40% of your salary to cook a pot of soup, a pot of jollof rice. 40% of your salary. Do you understand? To cook once. Now, if you are taking, for example, 500,000 salary monthly, take 40% out of it. Now, I tell you, millions of Nigerians do not earn up to 500,000 in a month. After the minimum wage is 70,000, 77,000. That's the minimum wage. That is to say, that 77,000 is not even enough for a family of 5 to cook. It's not enough for a family of 5. 5 is even too much. To cook food that is going to last them for a week. That one is even too much. And now the problem is, now we are heavily dependent of importation, because when Buhari was dealing with us, slowly, slow and steady, gradually, he was dealing with us little. Then farmers were still going to the farm at that time. Some farmers were still producing on their own, right? The local communities where they live, where they produce, they can still afford to buy from them. But now it is not so. Now we are heavily dependent of importation, because the insecurity, especially in the north, is the order of the day. So people cannot go to their farm again to do their farming work, to produce. And majority of them are in IDP camp. So people cannot go to their farm again. The communities where they used farming before their farm has been abandoned, or these people are taking over. So all those things are the problem, major problems. That should have been contributing to the GDP. Now is not contributing, nothing, zero. And they are only lying to us every time they want to rebase economy. Rebasing of economy is not a sign of economic progress. No. So there's a major problem now. And we are talking of complaining now. Okay, let's assume that because what they are this is a cultivation season. This is a planting season, right? They are planting. So let's hope that, okay, after this season, we are going to have more to harvest next season of harvest. But is there anything like that? Was it not what they told us last year? By this time, everything would have been all right. That they are producing massively. They are planting how many hectares of land from here, from the south, from the north, from the east. They are doing. Where are those things? Where are those things? Where are they? So the serious problem. So the lie is just too much in government. That's what Peter Obi said. You are asking your citizens to feast. I mean, you are feasting, you are asking them to fast. Right? So the wastage in government is just too much. And government is living large and it does not care. If Tinubu was never a rich man before, he was never a millionaire, a billionaire before, I would say, okay, but I don't understand. He's always just different. He's always just different from his style of leadership. It's different from other presidents we ever had in this country. Everything you could think of now is just different in terms of corruption. We are complaining, we complain corruption under Buhari. Now Tinubu is different, is worse. So a country like this that is so corrupt, that no production is going on, what do you expect? And hardship is the order of the day. You ended on your policy, ended up throw more people into poverty rather than pulling people out of poverty that Buhari has thrown people into. Now you are adding, you just come added to already burning fire, added petrol to already burning fire. You just explode at once. People are swimming. Now we are now among the hungriest, according to Peter Obi, the hungriest country in the world. We are not among the list. How do we get here? Just because of somebody want to be a president, just because somebody does not have understanding of economy, how it works. So it is my turn, I want to be the president, and he has money. You can do this, you can do that. So now where are we now? Are we progressing? No, we are not progressing, but retrogressing. Anyways, what do you think? Please share this video and please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Be your guy running for me now. So a lot of economists has given advices many times. We one way or the other make suggestions many times, but wow, we never reach to we never reach now. They will come, they collect idea from us, something like that. Do you understand? A lot of economists, professors, they've given solutions, offer solutions many times, but these people refused to adopt some of those things. But what they think, we just want to do it like this. They are doing you at this time. You can't do trial and error, right? It's not a gamble. There's no way you gamble this. You must first of all have conscience, be sincere with yourself, what you want to do, what you are going. You must first of all believe in yourself, believe that this thing is going to work, we are going to do it. You don't believe in yourself, you are not being sincere to yourself, you are not being sincere to what you are doing, and you want the country to work, you want economics to work. It's not a rocket science. Peter Obi will say, here we are today, complete. Since 2 years enough, over 2 years in office has been complete. No day Nigerians have ever smiled to say, okay, we have a president, okay, let even smile for once. Since day one. Now wow.